So we will probably if you live in a house, you probably have these. These are smoke alarms. Almost every house has them, except for unless you remove them for some reason, which you probably shouldn't. If you're getting false alarms, you should probably relocate where your alarms are. If so, don't. So I don't recommend disabling them. Um, so typically, how you test alarms, you just hold the test button like this, and then it should go off. This is a really old smoke alarm. I'm just using it for demonstration. This one's supposed to make a loud chirping sound, like this. But just continuous, like beep 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 beep. But this alarm is either the battery's dead or just some connection for some reason. I don't know what's going on. This is just a really old smoke alarm from the 90s. Whatever, it works. It does kind of make a chirp sound when I'm just gonna use it for demonstration. So, when you hit that test button, it doesn't actually test the sensor, well, at least in most cases. In fact, it doesn't really test the sensor. It only does it and tests the internal circuitry. You can kind of hearing that for a second. That's actually what it sounds like. So how your sensor not actually says that. I mean, you can use this, but it doesn't test the actual functionality of the sensor. So you might be wondering, how you actually test the sensor? Well, there's actually a few ways you can test the sensor. So one of the obvious ways is using burning paper. You can use a match. You can use a match to test a alarm, but I don't really recommend this because it can actually start a real fire if you're not careful. There's also a few other ways you can do it, maybe using a cigarette, but I don't recommend smoking. I think one of the best ways to do it is use a kind of smoke detector tester. This one is Smoke Saver. Now do note that this is basically aerosol in a can. This Smoke Saver is very flammable, so don't position it at a fire. Don't burn this at all. So you can get these on eBay for about $20. This 2.6 ounce can Smoke Saver, one of the smaller cans, but basically the aerosol. They do have this company that made it SDI. They also make Solo A4, which is non-flammable but doesn't do this cool thing right here. So this is how you basically. So it basically comes out and flaps out like that. So how do you use this? Well, all you need to do to test the alarm using the Smoke Saver, do that, and there should be just a blow button on the inside. You spray your smoke in there. And it kind of looks like real smoke. Wait for smoke sensors working. It's worked earlier. There we go. Yeah, there's something wrong with the battery in this one, but if your smoke alarm should go beep beep if the smoke sensor works. There it goes. This battery, I don't know what's wrong with this. You can see with the weak battery connection to the battery dying. I don't really have any chargeable batteries right now. And then you might have to air it out a little bit, especially if it's on. So this stuff will not work for CO detectors. So there's a special type of, it's called Solo C6. This company SDI makes that. Solo C6 is basically the same thing as this, but it's for carbon monoxide detectors. And also the Solo C6 is basically the same thing as, Solo C6 is the same thing as a Solo A4, but for carbon monoxide, and it's also green too. So I don't have that alarm on the wall. I'm not gonna do that. So imagine if there was a smoke alarm right there. So how do you do this? Well, you take your Smoke Saver, you flip it out, you push the button, spray up the detector. When the detector goes off, you need to take something and air out the detector. And that alarm over there chirped. the one that I was using, the old Firex one. And then it should go off for a few seconds. If it doesn't stop going off, you can use something to air off the detector. So I can just use this little hood. It should. And if the detector should air out, or you can use a pigeon muff for really much anything that to air out the detector. Well, maybe not that, but anything. Well, you can also use compressed air too, just spray some compressed air and it should clean out the sensor. So that's about it. Also, I do recommend you clean out your sensor every once in a while, and also every 10 years you replace your alarm. All the alarms in this house really need to be replaced. This one's expired. This fire detector. There was these other fire detectors in the house, and those are expired. And unfortunately, the one in my room, I'm pretty sure that's expired. Although I'm not sure. And also recommend I really recommend use photoelectric alarms. These ones are ionization. I do not recommend using ionization detectors in 2022 for your house. I really recommend at least getting some photoelectric detectors, at least one in your house, and maybe some combos. But honestly, the combos, we don't know how the algorithm works in the combos, so it might just be good to just have photoelectric onlys. And so, honestly, photoelectrics will give you a lot of advanced warning of smoke, of a smoldering fire, which is way more common in the beginning stage of the fire, and it's always good to have your alarms go off as soon as possible when there's a real fire. But just note that having ionization alarms is still better than having no alarms in your house. So that's why you should never disable your alarms if you can. Even if they're already disabled, try enabling them. If it gives you false alarms, and try relocating the detector, because that might just be or might just have to replace it with a photoelectric one. So yeah, that's about it. And also, if you have a hardwired detector, before you replace a hardwired detector, make sure you turn off the power. Some houses will have their own dedicated smoke alarm circuit. So yeah. And so yeah, and if the detector doesn't work, try replacing the batteries, and try seeing if it's not plugged in to hardwire. If it still doesn't work, you might just have to get a new alarm. So, and I recommend you get something. I don't recommend you get a Kidde alarm because they're constantly recalled and might be unreliable at times. I think the best alarm to get is the First Alert, because they're pretty reliable. And again, make sure to clean your alarms so that you don't get false alarms every once in a while. And also ensure that your alarm works in an actual emergency. Also, I recommend testing them at least weekly, or maybe that's at least monthly. I recommend testing your alarms. You're either using the test button or using SmokeSaver. Again, using this, I do recommend it a lot using SmokeSaver or like a Solo A4 or other smoke detector tester. But just testing the test button is fine for if you need to see if the actual battery is working. So yeah, that's about it. And also make sure you test your CO detectors too. I'm gonna just press the button right now. It's like the first time I did this today, anyways. So you know, I don't have any Solo C6 or any other kind of CO detector testers, since they don't just work with regular Solo. So. Alright. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.